Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Everyday English Podcast, where you can improve your English through real life situations. Today's episode is perfect for anyone planning an international trip. Traveling can be exciting, but airports can also feel confusing, especially if English isn't your first language. In this episode, we'll follow one passenger from the moment she arrives at the airport until she reaches her destination. Along the way, you'll learn useful airport vocabulary and common expressions that people really use while traveling. So let's begin. Imagine your name is Anna. Today, you're traveling from São Paulo to London. It's your first international trip alone. So you're excited, but also a little nervous. You arrive at the airport 3 hours before your flight. For international flights, arriving early is always a good idea. When you enter the terminal, you immediately look at the departure board. This large screen shows information about departing flights. You find your flight, Flight 245, London, check-in counter 32, on time. Great. Your flight isn't delayed. Now it's time to check in. At the check-in counter, an airline agent greets you. Good morning. May I see your passport, please? You hand over your passport. She checks your reservation and asks, do you have any bags to check? You answer, yes, I have one suitcase. Your large suitcase is called checked baggage. The smaller bag you take onto the aircraft is called carry-on baggage. The agent places your suitcase on the scale. It weighs 21 kilos. Your bag is fine, she says. If your suitcase is too heavy, it's called overweight baggage, and you may have to pay an extra fee. She attaches a bag tag to your suitcase and gives you your boarding pass. Your boarding pass contains your flight number, gate, boarding time, and seat number. Your gate is B12, and boarding starts at 8:30. Thank you, you reply. Your seat is 24A, a window seat. Some passengers prefer the window, while others prefer an aisle seat because it's easier to move around during the flight. Now it's time for a security check. You join the line and wait for your turn. When you reach the front, a security officer says, please place your belongings in the tray. You put your phone, keys, laptop, jacket, and belt inside. Remember, liquids must follow airport security rules. The officer asks, please place your laptop in a separate tray. Sure, you answer. Next, you walk through the metal detector. It beeps. The officer smiles. Do you have anything in your pockets? You check and find a few coins. You remove them and walk through again. This time, everything is fine. Before leaving, you make sure you have your passport, boarding pass, laptop, and bag. Now you're inside the departure area. There are restaurants, cafes, shops, and many boarding gates. Your gate is B12. Before going there, you buy a bottle of water and a sandwich. While walking, you hear an announcement. Flight 390 to Madrid is now boarding at gate A7. That's not your flight, so you continue walking. When you arrive at gate B12, the screen says, Flight 245, London, on time. Everything is going perfectly. You sit down and relax. The most stressful part is over. Soon, another announcement is made. Passengers traveling to London on Flight 245, boarding will begin shortly. First, business class passengers and those needing special assistance are invited to board. Then the airline calls the remaining boarding groups. Your boarding pass says Group 4. When your group is called, you walk to the gate. The gate agent scans your boarding pass and says, have a pleasant flight. You walk through the jet bridge and enter the aircraft. A smiling flight attendant welcomes you. Good morning. Welcome on board. She checks your boarding pass. Your seat is 24A. Straight ahead and then to the left. You find your seat, place your carry-on bag in the overhead bin, and fasten your seatbelt. Soon, another passenger arrives. My seat is 24B. You stand up so he can sit down. A few minutes later, boarding is complete. The flight attendants begin the safety demonstration. They explain the seatbelt, emergency exits, oxygen masks, and life jackets. Even frequent travelers should always pay attention. Safety comes first. Soon, the aircraft begins taxiing toward the runway. The engines become louder, the aircraft accelerates. A few seconds later, you're in the air. Looking through the window, you watch the city become smaller until all you can see are beautiful white clouds. The captain makes an announcement. Our flight time today will be approximately 11 hours. The weather is good, although we may experience a little turbulence later. Sit back, relax, and enjoy your flight. Once the seatbelt sign is turned off, passengers begin relaxing. Some watch movies. Others read books or take a nap. Soon it's time for the meal service. Chicken or pasta, the flight attendant asks. Chicken, please. And something to drink. Orange juice, please. After enjoying your meal, you watch a movie before falling asleep. Several hours later, the captain speaks again. We have started our descent into London. Please return to your seats and fasten your seatbelts. You put away your headphones, raise your seat back, and fold your tray table. Soon, you can see London through the window. The aircraft lands smoothly. Welcome to England. Passengers collect their bags and thank the cabin crew. Thank you for flying with us. After leaving the aircraft, you follow the signs to passport control. The immigration officer asks, "What is the purpose of your visit?" "I'm here on vacation." "How long will you stay?" 1 week. Enjoy your stay. Thank you. Next, you walk to baggage claim. The screen shows Flight 245, Belt 6. After a few minutes, your blue suitcase appears. You collect it and head toward customs. Since you have nothing to declare, you follow the green sign, nothing to declare. The automatic doors open. You're finally outside the airport. You've arrived safely in London. Looking back, you realize that airports are much easier once you understand the vocabulary. In the process, traveling becomes less stressful and much more enjoyable. Learning airport English isn't only about memorizing words, it's about communicating confidently, understanding announcements, and enjoying every part of your journey. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I hope you learned something new and feel more prepared for your next international trip. Question of the day. What country would you like to visit next? Write your answer in English in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join us for another episode of Everyday English Podcast. Keep learning, keep listening, and have a wonderful journey wherever you go. See you next time. Goodbye.